I just want to remind the trustees to unmute their microphones for voting, but only if they are voting no or are abstaining from voting, and to ask questions or provide comments. Action items. Note the following items require action by the committee. Number one, resolution of the Audit Committee of the City University Construction Fund approving the minutes of the Audit Committee's meeting of October 21st, 2019. Are there any amendments to these minutes? Minutes. Are there any amendments to these minutes? Any discussion?
No, no amendments at all from my standpoint.
Okay, I'm asking for a motion to approve the minutes.
I move that we accept the minutes and approve them.
Okay, and I second it. Okay, and now I'd like to call for a vote on approving the minutes. Only unmute to vote no or abstain. Hearing none, the result is the minutes are approved unanimously. Number two, resolution of the City University Construction Fund approving the annual certificate for fiscal year 2022. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Fund approve the annual certificate for fiscal year 2022 dated October 22nd, 2020 in the form attached hereto, and be it further resolved that the acting chairman of the fund is hereby authorized and directed to execute and deliver the annual certificate on behalf of the fund. I hereby call on John Antonelli, Deputy to the Executive Director of the Construction Fund, to explain the item.
Okay, pursuant to section 6274 of the education law, we're required to do an annual financial certification. And this is a letter that goes out and projects 2 years of debt service payments that are on prior debt, prior to 2003, which was the pre-personal income tax bonds that were secured by the real estate. And the outstanding balances going forward. It projects our expenditures for running CUCF going forward, and it also projects the tuition that flows through the construction fund. With that certification, we always submit an annual audited financial statement. Our statement is prepared by CUCF. Dan Rothbaum is here. He's the controller of the fund. He prepares it. And then it's audited by the auditing firm that we have. And this year, as you all know, we approved the contract. This is the first year we have a new accounting firm, Mitchell Titus, and we're so pleased to have them. They've been extremely thorough, and they're here to do a full presentation and answer your questions. So let me just introduce the Uzma Malik Dorman, she's the partner, and she's here, and Jeanette Carmona, who's an executive director with the firm and also the audit manager. So with that, I'd like them to begin their presentation. They have quite an extensive PowerPoint presentation, which they plan on delivering, and then will be available to answer any of the board's questions.
Thanks so much, John. Good morning, everyone. My name is Uzma Malik Dorman. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Nice to meet you all. Too bad we couldn't meet in person, but hopefully next year. So thank you so much for the opportunity to present, and thank you for selecting us as your new auditors. We've had a very smooth transition, even during this time. And Jeanette, if you could move to page 4, please. So just let me give you an overview of the services. So our responsibility for the audit is to really express an opinion on the financial statements of the fund. And then also we were engaged to provide some tax preparation services, which we will do. We have completed our audit procedures, and we plan on issuing an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, meaning clean opinion, which is always good. We did not identify any misstatements during the current year audit. And as a part of every audit, we do look at internal controls over your accounting and financial reporting processes. And we're pleased to report that we do not have any control deficiencies that came up during the audit. We can move to the next slide. I don't want to bore you with our audit approach, but we do perform planning procedures and have a risk assessment process to really develop our audit approach. So it's very customized so that we can provide quality results to you. Throughout the audit, we had communications on a regular basis with management to make sure that we were meeting your reporting deadlines, and every thing that we requested was provided to us. Management worked hard to make sure we were always informed of any issues, or we were provided with information on a very timely manner. And then, of course, we are in our conclusion reporting phase right now. So we will, as I mentioned, we will issue a clean opinion on the financial statements. Go to the next slide. So core team members, of course, me as the engagement partner. Steve Beloga is the concurring reviewer for every audit we do. We have a partner level person review the deliverables to make sure we are following firm and professional standards. And Jeanette Carmona was introduced, and she served as the manager. She's an executive director at the firm. And then, we had a supervisor and staff on the audit. So fraud considerations, we do consider fraud that may result in a material misstatement to the financial statements. We perform a variety of procedures, including conducting interviews, assessing fraud risks that may affect the entity, looking at journal entries, performing analytical procedures, and other audit procedures. Just wanted to point out that when we look at fraud, it's not that we're providing assurance that we're going to identify all instances of fraud. We look at really the risk of material misstatement as it relates to fraud. Next slide, please. So I think I'm going to let Jeanette take over here on the summary of audit results.
Great. Thank you, Uzma. Good morning, Audit Committee and members of management. The next few slides will go over the summary of our audit results, as well as our required communication to the Audit Committee. So listed here on this slide is several of what we call our significant accounts. So revenue recognition, of course, is important to us as we review each and every one of the line items of the financial statements. But I'll give you a summary and an idea of what we did during our audit for the recognition of revenue. Because revenue comes in from various sources, as far as the state and the city and the dormitory authority of the state of New York. We did send, of course, in CUNY, sorry, I don't want to miss that. We did confirm with them the revenues that come in. We confirmed the tuition and fees with CUNY. We confirmed the project funds that we received from the Dormitory Authority of State of New York. And here on out, I'll just refer them as DASNY, which I'm sure that's what you guys do as well. Yeah. We also performed certain analytical procedures over revenue. We did test transactions on a sample basis. And we're pleased to say we had no revenue recognition issues that we have identified. As far as cash and investments, we confirmed the balances with the financial institutions. We did test the investment income that is earned on these accounts and made sure it's reflected properly on the financial statements. And we also reviewed the disclosures that are included in the financial statements in accordance with GASB statement number 40. No exceptions were identified during our testing. The last item on the slide is our receivables. So truly, these are receivables due from other governments. So the state of New York, DASNY, and CUNY. So we tested individual accounts that we deemed to be significant. We reviewed subsequent cash collections to ensure that they are reasonable and collectible at year end, and we have not found any exceptions that we have identified. We also test liabilities as it relates to the money that is expected to be received, but also now expected to be paid out. So we did test a sample of transactions in contracts payable and the amount due to other governments. We also perform what we call a search of unrecorded liabilities, where we ensure that disbursements post year end are either properly or improperly included or excluded from the year end liabilities. And through our testing, we did not find any exceptions. Any questions from anyone before I move on to what we call our required communications to the audit committee?
None.
Great, thank you. All right, so I'll try to go through these slides as swiftly but as thorough as possible. A lot of this stuff is repetitive. Uzma did mention a lot of it in our summary earlier on, but our audit was consistent as what we planned, and the scope and the timing as communicated in our contract and engagement letter. So certainly we did not have any changes in our scope or timing. So certainly we have delivered as expected. Wanted to share that our team, as well as other members of our firm, complied with all ethical requirements regarding independence, and we are independent of the CUCF and CUNY. Significant accounting policies. So management is responsible to select and use the appropriate accounting policies. Those policies are included in Note 2 of the financial statements, and no matters have come to our attention that would require us to inform you of anything that's unusual or controversial or lack any authoritative guidance. We did not find any significant accounting estimates during the audit of CUCF. They do not have much financial statement accounts that involve a lot of management judgment. So that is something that we don't need to consider significant or important in our audit, because there are no significant estimates. And that we did not find any what we call sensitive estimates that may have management bias. So that does not exist at the CUCF. And during the course of our audit, we did not identify any actual or suspected fraud. We did not encounter any difficulties in dealing with management during the performance of our audit. I would like to commend the finance team. John and Dan and his team are absolutely phenomenal. And their team as well did such a great job in being extremely responsive to us. Us having the first year now under our belt will be an excellent transition into next year. But I think that given the fact that we are the new auditors, I believe that we worked really well together and communicated timely on all aspects of the audit. As Uzma did mention earlier, we did not have any uncorrected or corrected misstatements. To us, that means that finance is doing a fantastic job. So we did not find any audit adjustments. And no matters came to our attention that require us to inform you about any unusual transactions. We did not have any disagreements with management as it relates to auditing or accounting matters or financial reporting matters. We will be obtaining a signed representation letter from management that they rep as far as the information that they gave to us during the audit is accurate and consistent. Should you want a copy of that letter, you can obtain that from the CUCF management. We are also not aware that that management consulted with other accountants or auditors on auditing or accounting matters. And we did not find any significant findings or issues during the course of our audit. This is our last slide as it relates to required communication. We did not find any non-compliance with laws and regulations. And in the financial statements, there is a management discussion and analysis. It is a required supplementary information for the financial statements, and it is considered unaudited, but we do review the management discussion analysis to make sure that it is consistent with the information that we did audit and the information obtained during the course of our audit. And we did not find any events or conditions that would indicate that CUCF has a substantial doubt about the ability to continue as a going concern from 1 year from the financial statement issuance date. So there is no concern there. So that concludes our audit results presentation of the CUCF. We thank you for the opportunity to audit the fund, and we look forward to continuing our relationship in the future. The remainder of our slides is really just about our firm and our locations and just our public sector group. So I won't go through that in detail, but should you want a copy of our slides, I think you may have it, but should you want it, I think Dan and Courtney may have a copy for you. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments regarding the auditor's report?
Yeah, my comment for the record is that the firm and the principals thereof have done a very good job. I really appreciate it. Just want to indicate that, and also the work that John and also Dan have done in working with this group. It's the first time that they've presented to us, and I find that the work is very thorough, and also it includes all of the information that we want to have. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I just have, this is Hector Batista. I just want to make a comment that we're very proud of the fact that we were able to bring on an MWBE firm to do this work. It is consistent with what the chancellor has put as a mandate for the system, not only in some of our constructions areas, but also in the service industry, you know, and I think it is attributed to the work that my colleagues at CUCF have done to ensure that now we bring another firm that not only has great credentials, but also allows us to continue to do that very important work. So I'm very proud of that going forward. So I want that on the official records.
Well,
Okay.
we really appreciate the opportunity, and you know, you're considered to be a very important client, and you know, we're here for you throughout the year. If any accounting issues come up or standards that you need help with, we're available throughout the year. So it's not just a one-time thing where we're here just to do the audit. So we are available. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Looking forward to continued partnership.
Likewise.
Okay, if there's no further comments, I'd like to bring this to a vote. All in favor?
I'm in favor.
Okay. Again, any opposed or abstentions? Okay, not hearing any, it carries unanimously. It's approved. And if there's no more business before the committee, this meeting is now adjourned.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.